Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on Happy RC Flyer here on YouTube. Today is Tools and Tips Tuesday, and today we have a tip for you. It's how to repair your Arrma 6S Kraton. Those of you that have one of these or have seen them run know that they're complete monsters. They're a beast and just a blast to bash around. And one of my friends bought one of these and said, hey, let's go meet up at the local skate park and send it off some jumps. And I said, man, you just don't do that. Like, that's kind of rough on your RC stuff to bash it around like that. Maybe the sponsor guys might do that, but man, I have to pay for these things. I have to pay for the parts. And he's like, probably won't hurt that much. Just come, let's have some fun. Take it easy, whatever. So we went. We did have a blast, that's for sure. And actually, I was surprised that I didn't break anything. I came down sometimes on the front wheel, like sideways at an angle. I landed upside down, landed on pretty much any of the four sides, or I guess more than just four because there's the top and the bottom. But the idea is to try to land it on all fours to absorb the shock of the fall. But yeah, I was really impressed. Didn't know I actually broke anything until a few days later when I was running it out on a flat area, and I noticed it had a little bit of a shake, and I said, man, something's shaking. So I got to looking at it closer and found out that I had actually bent a CV shaft. So we'll be replacing that in today's video. It's part number, it's an Arrma part, and it's part number AR310-459, AR310-459, and it's the 139 millimeter Dogbone for your Arrma 6S Kraton. It's a pretty easy fix. It's a pretty easy repair. Probably won't take too long, but I wanted to show you guys how to do that, and hopefully you're not too scared by doing repairs on your own vehicle. If you drive them, you need to learn how to work on them. If you fly them, you need to learn how to work on them. That's my philosophy anyway, and that's the best way to keep you up, keep you in the RC game, enjoy the hobby for the least expensive. So if you have to have somebody else to repair your vehicles and rebuild your stuff when you crash it or damage it, then it can get really expensive. It's already expensive enough to try to purchase these. I think this is on sale currently. I don't know when this video will post, but currently it's on sale for I think like $4.79, but normally these run like $5.59. But they're a lot of fun. I know that's a lot of money to get into, but they're really tough. And like I said, for all the bashing around that we did, and I'm sure you'll see some videos to that, I'm really surprised that it didn't damage more. But anyway, here we are. These are a lot of fun. If you haven't already, please take the time to subscribe. My YouTube analytics tell me that most of my viewers are not subscribed, about 80% of them or so. So that would do me a big favor by taking the time to hit the subscribe button. That helps the channel grow, and I desire to help the hobby grow. So if you have that same goal in mind, you want to share and spread the joy of RC and the fun of messing around in this hobby with RC cars, trucks, boats, helicopters, drones, you name it. You've probably seen some videos on this channel about it, from FPV stuff to line of sight to scale airplanes, just across the board. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it all. And if you like that unsponsored, unbiased perspective on things, this is the right place for you. And so hopefully you'll take the time to subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want, and that will turn on the notifications that will let you know when I upload future videos if you want to be notified, and if not, that's fine too. Drop a comment or a question that you might have, whether it's about the Arrma Kraton, whether it's about another Arrma product. There's some Arrma products I would recommend you to stay away from, and there's some Arrma products that I highly recommend. So if you have a question about an Arrma vehicle, feel free to drop that in the comments, and I'll try to get to it. I know I don't always keep a close eye on it, but part of that's because I work and have a job, and I also have other hobbies too. So bear with me there a little bit. Have some patience with the comments and the questions. But even if you have a question about anything RC related in the hobby, feel free to put that in the comment section. And even if I don't get to it right away, I'm sure somebody out there will. That's the cool part about the RC community. There's always somebody out there that's willing to help. And my desire is to encourage you to get off the couch, get out the chair, and get outside and enjoy God's creation with an RC, whether it's a boat or a truck or a car or a quad or an airplane, whatever it is, 3D or scale flying, whatever you enjoy doing, crawling. It's a lot of fun, and so you'll never regret that, spending more time outdoors. And so that's my goal, is to encourage you to enjoy the hobby and hopefully not get stuck on repairs and things. So that's why we're going to make this repair video. So anyway, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but it's AR part number 310-459. And so make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop a comment or a question, and like the video at the end. Hit the big thumbs up if you like the video, and do your best to share this video with a friend that you think might enjoy it. Try not to spam anybody with them, but share it with somebody that you think might enjoy it, that enjoys the hobby. So all right, let's get into it. Here we have the Arrma 6S Kraton. As I mentioned already, I mentioned the part number, so obviously you want to make sure you have your parts before you start taking it apart. Another little tip that really wasn't intended for this video, but it goes right along with it. Don't take your RC apart unless you have the replacement parts right there in your hand. Now, there'll be mixed opinions on that. Some people say, well, in order to know what part I need to get, I have to take it apart, and that may be the case. So there's some exceptions. But my encouragement to you is don't take your RC vehicle apart or your airplane. I know if you crash, it's going to take itself apart. There's that. But the idea behind being a little reserved on taking it apart before you have the part back together is sometimes you take it apart and then it's a while before the part comes in. The part might be on back order. Some parts are on back order with Horizon. And if it's like months, hopefully it's not a year, but if months and a long time goes by and you've taken it apart, you're not probably going to remember how that thing goes back together. You're probably going to lose some bolts. You might rearrange your workbench area, or hopefully you don't have the kitchen table tore up. Your wife's not going to like that. But if you have to rearrange or move a project in the middle of a repair, it's very likely that you'll lose screws and parts, but also you'll forget how to put it back together and forget how to replace things. So if you can, try to diagnose what parts you're going to need ahead of time, order the parts in, and once you get the parts and they arrive in your hand, then dive into it and fix it. So anyway, that out of the way, we're going to start by taking the body off, and it's pretty easy. If you have one of these, you know you just pull these little pins. Some guys have the little pins, the body clips, without these little rubber retention straps on it. Those are really nifty. You pull that off there, and there it is. And let's see which one. Okay, it's in the rear on this side. So we're going to flip it around here so you can see it a little bit better. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. You can probably see the bending. It's this shaft right here. Hopefully you'll see that. Maybe I'll spin it around here so the camera can see it a little bit better, but you can see obviously this shaft is bent up. Now it still rotates, but it rubs on this A-arm shaft, so we're going to replace it. It's a pretty easy replacement. I don't even know if I have my lug wrenches with me today, so we're just actually going to leave the tire on the hub and everything as we replace it. So I'll show you a real quick way to do that. We'll go ahead and open up our part, make sure we have that handy. And I believe these are just two of the same parts. I think they're interchangeable. We'll find out here shortly. I do have this repair toolkit. You guys have seen this. Uh-oh, my zipper just broke off on that, but we can open it anyhow. So you've seen me do a review on this with the Tools and Tips Tuesday. It was one of the first Tools and Tips Tuesday videos that I showcased this toolkit. Obviously, my zipper is broken here, so unfortunately, we'll have to figure something out about that. That's not going to close now, but this is a really nice toolkit to have. It has these Allen or the hex, and what we're going to do, also we might need this little needle nose, but what we're going to do is we're going to take, there's a bolt right here on this top arm that we're going to take off, and hopefully you guys can see that. And we're going to take that off, and that will allow the hub to swing out. And when the hub swings out, then it'll release that dog bone. So basically, it's a one screw repair. We got some company, and they were considerate enough to ask if they're in the way, and they're not. We're shooting at a public park today, so you might see some other people passing by. There's some ball games going on, some cool stuff going on here. But anyway, I just grabbed the needle nose and held it on the inside of that. There's a nut on the inside of here. Of course, my hex, and then now I'm holding it with my hand. Be careful when you take it off. There's a little tiny hex nut, and then I don't know if you can see this little steel washer, and we're working on the grass, so be very careful. I'm going to set this down on my toolkit. I'm going to push this back out backwards, and as I do, you can see that hub just swings right out. So as the hub swings out, you just take the old shaft out and put the new shaft in. Should fit in there. I think it's universal. Actually, there was one knuckle that's larger than the other. You can see that one side of the dog bone. So the larger one goes towards your wheel. The smaller one goes up towards your rear differential. So we're going to set that in there. We're going to swing it. Oops, we had it, but then it fell back out again. We're going to set that up in there. We're going to put this back up. And you can see just how fast this repair is. And then, of course, make sure you get the little steel washer back on. And I do apologize in advance because I know you guys can't see this side of things, how it is, but this is such a quick repair that I mostly just wanted to show you that you do not have to take the tire off and all the other links and the rear A-arm and all of that stuff. You don't have to take the shocks off. The less you can take off, the better. And the faster you'll get back in the game of having some fun. So again, we're going to put the little needle nose on the nut to hold it as we screw it in. You don't want it super tight, but you want it tight enough. So guys, that didn't take long at all. Look at that. Now it's nice and smooth. Now let's see, do we have, that one might have a slight bend in it. I think it's going to be fine. Spin it around here this way. The front ones, are they looking okay? They are, as far as I can see. Maybe you can see that too. So there it is. Whoops, slipping out of my hand. This was the nut on the inside. I don't know if you'll be able to see that from back there, but that's just what I held the needle nose on. And you just hold that side and unscrew this side. Let your whole hub swing out. Leave the tire on, leave your shocks on, leave everything on. That's a super fast repair. It's a common thing for those to bend. It's not the first time I've bent them. I don't remember if that's the first time I've bent one on this actual Kraton buggy, but I know the other one that I bent, I just took it out and I put it on the workbench and kind of hammered it straight, bent it, straightened it up again, or took the bend out of it, and I continued to run it. So it might be on one of these other ones, I can't remember. That's what happens when you have more than one RC. You kind of forget what you have and which ones you worked on. So there we are. There's the old one. You can see that it did a number on it, that's for sure. And it's replaced. So you could probably, I don't know, I think it's more than what you're going to bend with your hand. That's pretty, at least for me. So there it is. There's the bent one. And when you get this part, again, it's part number AR 310-459. When you get that part, you're going to get two of them. So we only used one in this repair, and you could put both of them on if you want to, but I'm going to save the other one because I'm planning to go back to the skate park, and when I do, I'm sure I'll probably need another one. But the more you run these, the better you get at making sure that you land on all fours, and that is the goal. So I'm just going to take this and zip it back up that way. It actually broke off of there, so I've been using this. I've had this kit for probably maybe a couple years, so I'm pretty impressed. And I was probably a little hasty with it, and it just broke. It's probably cheap aluminum or something. But anyway, so that's a nice toolkit to have, but you don't have to have this toolkit to repair this. You do have to have that part to repair it, but you could use any toolkit as long as you have some nice assortment of hex. And put our body back on there, put the clips back in, and we are ready to go. So that was a pretty fast repair. Hopefully you don't allow those little things to hinder you from having fun, and hopefully you don't have to take it somewhere and pay somebody else to do it and wait for it to be repaired while you're missing out on beautiful weather like it is this evening. It is a beautiful evening, and tell you, the Lord has blessed us with some nice weather. I just implore you again to get out and enjoy God's great creation and God's great outdoors with an RC, because it's probably going to be blowing snow pretty soon. Maybe not in the country where you come from, or maybe a different part of the U.S. You might not get much snow, and kudos to you, but I actually like to play with this in the snow, so I want to get it up and going. These are aftermarket tires, as you can probably tell. Maybe I'll put a link in the description for those, or if you're inquiring about them, just let me know. I can give you a link. I don't think they're belted, so they do balloon really bad. I personally don't mind that for what I'm doing, just hitting some jumps and bashing around. I don't mind them being a little floaty. But yeah, tires are one thing you're going to wear out. The CV shafts are a common bending point for these. These rear fins or spoiler, whatever you want to call them, sometimes you call them a wing, They can tend to break, or at least your mounts can. I think maybe once I've snapped these wing mount screws that are down here, and you just replace them. Just get another screw set and replace those. Sometimes you'll break the mount up in here. Once in a while you'll break these mounts, this part of the mount. I don't know what this part is called, but if you order the replacement kit, it's going to come with pretty much everything from the wing down to this tower. I think this is called the shock tower, so that's where it mounts onto. So it's going to come with all the parts underneath. I don't think it will come with any screws, so hang on to your screws. Again, don't take it apart until you're ready to put the new one on. But yeah, those are pretty much the common issues that I've had anyway. I've had this for probably 3-4 years maybe, and bashing it around, having a lot of fun. You can see it's got some skid marks on the bottom on the skid plate, but anyway, there you go, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Again, as I mentioned already, take the time to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Drop a comment or a question if you have one, and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Share it with a friend that you think might enjoy it. Thanks for watching this episode of Tools and Tips Tuesday, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.